morning. I've got a new project. It's 7 o'clock. Usually I'm out here by 6 because it gets hot here in Louisiana. And the feel like is usually 107. So we get out here early in the morning, like 6 o'clock, and work until like noon or somewhere's in there, then lay off the rest of the day, and then maybe start up that afternoon, get a little more done, or maybe not. But anyhow, that's why I'm out here so early. Of course, it's 7 o'clock, it's not 6. And I'm going to make a starter for my push lawnmower, which is not a push lawnmower anymore. It's a side mower. Yeah, it's a side mower now. And but it doesn't crank real easy sometimes. I'm not sure about pull start, so I said, well, what the heck? Let's do it with the drill. I can show you a picture or a video or something up here in the top corner of where I have been using a drill to start it. But when it starts, it has like a little yank back. It yanks back a little bit, and I don't know if that may not be good on the drill. I don't know. I don't want to mess up a good drill, so I've come up with and it's a cord drill that you're seeing. But so I'm coming up with a whole new plan. I went and got a new drill at the wall. I'll show it to you in a minute. And I'm putting together a clutch. Basically, we're going to call it is a starter clutch for a car, but we're going to use it for a starter clutch for a lawnmower. And I'm going to walk you through before I even get started. But I've got the plans already in my head, and I'm going to describe that to you as we're making it through all this. But we're right down here. Okay, here's the drill I'm going to use. It's a little DeWalt drill, and that's his name. I can't pronounce it, but it's got two speeds here. It's got a low and a second, a 1 and a 2. And it's a pretty potent little drill, and it's a 20 volt, and this is a 2 amp. They make a 5 amp battery too, but I don't think I'm going to need that. That's the only reason why I even bought this drill, is strictly for cranking. I've got a smaller drill. It's not a DeWalt. It's a off-brand. I can't remember the off-brand it is. But it works great because it's small and it fits in everywhere I want to go. I've been using it for years. Okay. Here is the clutch. I went to a starter shop, told them what I was doing. This is an old one, a used one. They took off. They ended up giving it to me. And usually it's got some springs and other stuff up here. When you take it off the starter, it does. Or it's got a little fork. It goes in here. It shoves it forward and back. You know, it's kind of an old style. But they only go one way. You can turn this as much as you want this way. But when you turn it the other way, it turns all of the gears here. I mean, this gear. Okay? And other people are making these already. This is not a new concept or something that I'm coming up with, but I'm just showing you how I'm making mine, okay? All right, here's my plan. I've got an extension here. I've got to send the extension down on this side for this to work right. And I'm going to end up cutting this extension right here. I'm going to take this part here off. I'm going to cut it right here because that's the length I want. So that mark is going to come down to here. That's how much it's going to stick out for me to put my socket on there. Okay? But the reason why I want to cut this so short, because I'm going to weld it. I'm going to weld it right here. Cut this off and weld this right here. So all of this here be gone. Okay. Now this is the part that's going to go down on the mower. With this socket. Or I may go get another socket that's shorter. But it will go down on the mower like that. So we're like this so far. Now I have to extend the part up here at the top. I cannot plug into this. This is going to be gone. It needs to be gone because all of this got to get covered up. We're going to use a piece of this right here. I'm going to cut this off and add this little chunk right here. Take it off just like a donut and slide it down on here. So then I'm going to be welding it right here. And I got to be careful. I can't let it get too warm because there's little old springs. There's little springs and stuff down inside this clutch you can't see here. And I don't want to heat them up because if it heats them up, this clutch is not going to work as good. So somehow I got to keep this cool, either spraying WD-40 in there or spraying water. One way or the other. I got to keep it cool. I may do the water thing. But, and I'm going to tack it, keep tacking it until it finally builds up. Okay, once I cut this off and this goes on here, then we're going to put a washer on top. And then the washer, then we're going to add just a stray socket. Doesn't matter what socket, but it's one of these. Yeah. And then we're going to weld it on top. I know it's getting real confusing right now because I need to do a little work here, and then you'll follow along. You'll follow along. But now to get my line around this, I'm going to use a hose clamp and tighten it up on here, and then make my marking all the way around. So let me do that and go ahead and cut this piece. Then I can walk you through what we're doing easier. Alright, I got a couple of the pieces cut. I'm going to walk you through before I do any welding here. So I went on and cut, this is that extension here. It goes through there. And I cut the top of it off here. And now I'm going to weld this right here. All the way around. And, but I may not, see, that way I can always grind it off later if I should shear this off. I don't think I will. But anyhow, I'm just going to weld this all the way around here. I needed this top piece out of my way here. For the reason is when I put this down on there, I got this cut too, I wanted to weld this close to this edge here, deliberately. Because there, like I said earlier, there's little springs down in here. And I don't want to take a chance on heating them up and running them, because then I got to break this down and try to replace the springs or whatever, or go get another one of these starter drives. So there's two things going on here. I can get rid of this, and as you can see, this here is going to be lower than the rest of it. Okay, and then I'm going to weld it along this edge because there's more of the thick metal along this edge here, and I've got this ground back real good on both sides where I shouldn't have any trouble getting an arc. I'm putting that on there. And then I've got a washer here that's going to go on there. And then I'm going to put a socket. I don't know if I'm going to go with the 3/8 or the half. I've got both extensions here for that. I may go with the half. And then weld the half socket up here. And this is pretty much it. This is the whole outfit right here. And then this here will go on there, and then that goes to the drill. That goes to the drill. Let me get some stuff welded and I'll get back with you. Let me get some stuff welded and I'll get back with you. And then we'll play catch up once again. Okay, I've got this here welded, and I ground it down a little bit. I don't want it any higher than I need it. And I kept this thing flushed with water. That's what you're seeing down here is water. trying to keep this thing cooled off as I'm welding it even. Okay? And I kept the welder on low, and I kept just spot welding it, going around. And then cooling it off with water. Because I don't want to ruin these springs. I keep emphasizing that, I know. But now the next level is this here. I got this ground off along the edge where I get a good arc. All with one hand. And I got to get this up there and hold it down with the glove and tack weld this around there. And also keep it cooled down with the water also. So let me get that done, because I can't video and do all that. But let me get that done, and then we'll play catch up again. Alright, here's where we're at so far. It's still a little warm. I have tack welded it all the way around. And then I ground it down some because it don't look real pretty. But I didn't want to stay in one spot too long. See, like I need to go back and probably add another tack there. Since I've cleaned it up, I could add another tack there. But anyhow, I've also got to put something down here, underneath here. Because with this here, this extension, just being welded to that gear there, it does move around a little bit. Okay? So I need to put a washer or something here to help keep this centered. I will find a washer and slide up on there. But for right now, I believe where I'm headed now is this washer here, this big washer. I got to find center and then weld it on there. Okay? And then once I weld that, then I'm going to weld this socket. Now I may cut this one down. I may cut some of this off of here, because I don't need all that socket. Now what the others are doing, they're not doing all this. They're just welding a big socket, like a $20 or $15 socket. I don't even remember what size they used, but it didn't come all the way to the edge. It looked fine, what they did. But I decided to do this. I'm trying to go the least involved with how much expense and how much I can do. Now getting all this trued up, getting it right in the center is going to be the difficult thing. But that's kind of what we're looking at right there. So let me go ahead and get this one welded and get that one cut, and then I'll get back with you. Alright, there's my weld. It's nothing real pretty to brag about, but this is really thin stuff here, as you seen earlier, and I didn't want to burn through it. But now there's a zinc coating on this big old thick washer, and I ground it and cleaned it up before I started welding. And also I ground the paint off of this post right here that was part of a bed frame. And I've cleaned it up here at the top, as you can see. So the next thing to do is I'm going to cut this down, and then I'm going to take it to the grinder over there and try to grind it and surface it straight, because it's going to be off a little bit. And then I got to try to find center right here, and then weld it down. So let me get this cut and ready for that. And I may just go on and weld it on there, and then I'll get back with you again. Alright, I've got this cut off shorter. I don't think it's too short. It's going to do fine. But I got it trued up a little bit over there at the grinder. But also I kept it cooled down. I don't know why I did that. I didn't have to keep this cooled down, but I just did. I guess I'm already getting in a habit of doing it, because I kept all this here washed down cool. Okay, so I got to get this lined up to go on top. But also here at the bottom, there's a lot of room down here at the bottom. And it's not moving real easy, but it could move later. So I seen another video that a guy put a washer on there, and that's fine. But I found a nut here that fits pretty close down in there. So what I'm going to do is weld the nut to this part over here, right here, and leave it freely over here where it will spin. So basically, see, these have got to spin separate, these two here. They got to spin separate. It goes one way. So I can only weld it on either this one or this one. And I think it'd be better on this one here to weld that nut on there. So I'm fixing to go ahead and weld the nut on there, and then we're going to get back to trying to true this up on here and line it up. It should be something like that there. And it's going to be a shorter package than what some of them with the whole washer, I mean the whole sockets and stuff, and all that's good. But this is how I'm doing this one. And as this being welded, I'm going to try to keep it cool also with water. Okay, I'm just going to weld it down here, and then I'll get back with you. Okay, I got the nut welded on there. I just got carried away. I'll show it to you in a minute when I get this loose, but I got it in the vise. Now, the nut, I mean the socket up here, I tack welded it pretty good over here. It's just a mild tack, but just one, because that way I can take the hammer, which I've already tapped it, and just get it to turn just a little bit, trying to get it more in the center here. And I have moved it. Now I'm ready to put another tack over here and take one more look at it. And if it's not correct, I can always take the grinder or the cutoff wheel and cut it loose and re-weld it. But I'm trying to avoid that. I'm just trying to get as close as I can to center. It's probably not going to be trued up perfect, but it would be good enough to start that little mower. But here we go. Okay, here's what I did. I tacked it in two places here, and then I put this extension here in here and put it in the drill. And slowly rotate it up just to see how far off I am. Well, once I found out I was off a little bit more than what it is now, I took a screwdriver and pried it on the opposite side of where the two tack welds were, because that was the low side, and I retacked it here. So I think that's about as close as I'm going to get it right there. It's just to start a mower. It's not to do anything else. So I'm going to finish welding this here, around here, and then I think that's going to be pretty much it. Okay guys, I finally got it completed. The welds look like bad, but they're doable. This is the way I weld. I don't know why. But anyhow, I've got two different sockets. They both got different ends on them. One of them's got a half, one of them's got 3/8. I'm set up for 3/8. But this socket here, both these sockets will fit the nut down here. We're going to turn him over. But I took the plug wire off of there. I don't need him to crank up under here. But anyhow, this is a 15/16 or a 24 millimeter. And I'm going to be using a 24 millimeter to rotate him. He's not going to crank. He's just going to rotate. I'm going to put him in first gear. Now that's low. This is high. I think low would do it though. This is gear number 2. So that's it of this video. It's not trued up perfect, but you see it does work. It's a lot shorter than most of them I've seen online. Less expensive too, except for the welding time and using the welder and stuff. But I'm happy with it. So I'll see you later on the next one. Bye.
Hey guys, come here. I want to tell you something. This channel, this YouTube channel I found, it has got a super wide range of topics. Over 239 videos and growing fast. Go check it out. Just click on the link and go there. Now. Right now.